Hello, and welcome to Business of Design. We're so glad you're here. Episode 267. We're talking about how do you tell clients you're giving yourself a raise? And for that matter, have you given yourself a raise? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? It seems every single day, trades, suppliers, vendors, manufacturers are increasing their prices. Now, in some cases, it's because they're forced to. Supplies are more expensive. Fuel is more expensive. But in some cases, they're giving themselves a raise because they can. Because right now, the market is so volatile, everyone is expecting rate increases. So there isn't a lot of explaining to do. Clients aren't happy about it, but they certainly understand that it's happening. Most companies aren't waiting for permission to give themselves a raise. Are you waiting for permission? Because if you are, here it is. Yes, now is the time. If you are busy, overwhelmed, overworked, it's really a good time to give yourself a raise. So on this episode, we are going to talk to an uber talented interior design professional from Sydney, Australia, Marylou Sobel. And we're going to talk about not only is it a good time to give yourself a raise, you want to make sure your contract allows you to do that. And then we're going to talk about different ways you can propose that raise or introduce that raise to your clients. New clients, existing clients, etc. We're also going to talk about travel fees and markups and all kinds of good stuff on this episode. Marylou Sobel is extremely talented. As I said, check out her website, Marylou Sobel Designs. You will see for yourself that what I say is true. She's ultra talented. She's also super tough because when we did this taping, she was in the middle of having COVID. Yeah, she was 10 days in. You could hear once in a while in her voice, she's not feeling so great, but what a trooper. She showed up for all of us, and thank you so much for doing that, Marylou. Hey, Business of Design listener, you remember BuildLane? BuildLane is an app that manages end-to-end custom furniture needs. They are laser focused on one thing, making it easier for us to create custom furniture. Their partner workshop capabilities are nearly endless. The process is all online, so you work at your convenience. BuildLane isn't just technology, really it's a team. There are artists, craftspeople, design experts, and shipping pros, all dedicated to helping you create something that you and your client will love. Go to buildlane.com/BOD for $100 off your first order. All quotes are fast and free. And by the way, I was super excited. They've made it even easier to create custom furniture quotes by adding templates. There are hundreds of classic and popular furniture styles ready for you to customize for your clients at the click of a button. This whole podcast came about because Marylou had a couple questions about raising a rate and travel fees, and we thought it might be just easier to jump on a call and record the conversation, which we did. And I will tell you, I am so looking forward to doing more of these conversations face to face now. It really feels like the time is right, and I'm excited about that. Let me think, what else am I excited about? Well, I'm excited that we are reviewing applications for our second boss group. Yes, if you have already completed the BOD 15, if you've already transformed your business and your life by working with us at Business of Design, the next level is waiting for you, boss level. This is where you will work exclusively with a CFO. You will submit your profit and loss statement. It will be analyzed for weaknesses and gaps, and you will be working with other highly motivated interior design professionals who want what you want, explosive growth, and in some cases, a succession plan. If moderate success isn't good enough, boss may be for you. Now, some of you listening may think, oh my gosh, I just joined and I haven't completed the BOD 15. That's okay. Let Cheryl know you're interested and get your application in anyway. A couple of our current boss members were in exactly that place. They worked quickly through the BOD 15, which is only about 20 hours of programming. And they ended up joining the boss group and are having tremendous success. That could be you, but the time to act is now. Applications are coming in. Reach out to Cheryl, info@businessofdesign.com or Cheryl@businessofdesign.com, Cheryl with a C. Let me see if Cheryl has any other announcements today. And after that, we'll launch right into the show.
We have quite a few things on the list today, but let's start with boss since you already mentioned that one. We're getting a lot of questions still about our BOD boss groups. So we've added an everything you need to know about being a boss information session to the calendar. So if you'd like to join us for that, you do need to register. So head to the website. It's going to be on May 4th at 1 p.m. EST. And again, we're asking you to register for that event so that we know who all is going to be attending. Also coming up next week for our next BOD Live, we're going to be talking about commercial projects. So for those of you who are already using the BOD 15, we get a lot of questions about how this translates to commercial projects. What is the same for running those projects? What differs slightly for the onboarding process? Things like that. We're going to address all of those questions that we always get about commercial projects. Again, that's our next BOD Live, which is Wednesday, April 13th at 1 p.m. EST. If you are still thinking about joining us for the retreat, we do have a couple of spots left, and it's coming up really quickly on April 28th to May 1st. So please reach out to me if you've got questions or head to the website for details. I'm going to throw one more thing in there. We just launched a new BOD program, Salary, Revenue, Profit, and Wealth. This program focuses on the financial health of your business, and that's the result of disciplined planning, strategy, systems, and boundaries all working together. So you are going to learn the financial strategies you need to help run a profitable business. So be sure to check that out. Again, the new program, Salary, Revenue, Profit, and Wealth, is available within BOD membership. That's it for today, but of course, details on all of these items are available at businessofdesign.com or reach out to me, Cheryl, at businessofdesign.com. Thanks so much.
Welcome to the Business of Design podcast with Kimberley Seldon. Business of Design is the world's best business training for interior design professionals like you. We have the systems, strategies, and protocols you need to consistently satisfy clients, increase profitability, and run your projects like a boss. Unlike traditional coaching, BOD is a fast track to immediate results. Don't try to do this alone. Join today and you'll have access to hundreds of targeted training modules, plus member perks like BOD Live events, member-only podcasts, preferred pricing, and the support of an engaged community of peers. We all know design matters. At Business of Design, we think designers matter too.
As the episode launches, you will hear Marylou and I discussing whether or not we think our work is valued. And I think you'll hear from both of us that we feel sometimes the contractor gets a lot of love and respect and the architect gets a lot of love and respect. And sometimes we feel maybe we don't quite get as much as we should. It's funny because I was thinking about that the last couple of weeks since I spoke to Marylou. And I do think we are highly valued. In fact, Marylou said something in this episode about a client who said, "Where have you been all my life?" I mean, that's value, right? She had worked with other designers and found the whole experience less than satisfying. And then when Marylou came in with her process, she went, "Wow, this is amazing. This is just what I want." I've had a very challenging month with all kinds of supply chain hiccups, like you probably. And although my clients pay for these problems to be troubleshooted, is that a word? Troubleshooted? Troubleshot? By me, I think they're very grateful. I'm willing to do that work. I don't pass it back to them. I handle the big stuff and the little stuff. So I do think in the last month or so, I have been feeling more and more like there is tremendous value I can bring to the table when I am the lead on the project. When I take the lead, I am the prize in that case. Listen, you're the prize wherever you are. I promise you. If you don't know it, come to Business of Design and we will help you see for yourself. let's jump right into the episode. Episode 267, Introducing the Raise with Marylou Sobel.
Where are you? I'm so sorry about that. I'm in San Diego.
How glorious.
Yeah. So you were starting to say I understand why you're saying it sounds kind of bitter, but it's true. We're not valued. We're just like the architect gets plenty of value. The contractor gets lots of value. We're that like middle person who everybody thinks they can kind of do it without us.
Exactly. And it's interesting because when I was listening, because I'm watching your videos, and actually what I'd really like to do is stay home, hide in a room for about a month and just watch one after the next and not do a thing. And anytime somebody comes to talk to me or they want something from me, I'm like, I can't. I'm busy. I'm watching a video.
You can't. You're too busy.
And I'm thinking to myself, we have to keep, at the end of the day, we're going to be people with amazing confidence and self-esteem, which is not a bad thing, because you have to just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper, getting a stronger and stronger voice, feeling more and more confident about yourself as a person, about what you do, how you do it, how you manage it, how you lead your team, and there's only positive in all of that. But gee, why does it need to be that hard, Or do you think every industry has that for everyone? If you want to shine and you want to do really well, you just got to be at it all the time and building yourself, Anyway, what you said yesterday resonated a lot with me about being in an infant stage and a toddler stage. And honestly, I am 26 years into my own business and a designer for 30-something years, 38 years, 39 years. So isn't it really crazy to think what it takes,
Yeah, it does. It takes a lot. And I know what you mean. You have that group of designers and you go to an event and everybody says they're doing great and they're posing, but they're not, they're not doing great. They're not doing great. And we know that because a supplier tells us that they barely order anything, or we meet someone who used to work for them who says, oh my gosh, yeah, they were not profitable, or yeah, it's just how it is. But you sent some questions
yes.
And they were like a little bit too complicated to just yes or no via email. And I thought, why don't we just record it and maybe you can use part of it. Maybe we can use part of it for members to just listen in on.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
So question one is, I've recently put up my rates, and I put up everybody in the design team excepting the junior rate, because for now I just think that it's probably, you'll probably tell me I'm wrong, but I feel like people might look at junior and think it's junior, even if I think my junior person right now is doing really well and I'm very impressed with her. She's been with me a year. So going forward, any new job, I don't have a problem. There's my rates. It's in my contract. That's how I work. With a couple of the projects we're working on now, especially that first one that I'm using your philosophy and the way you work, and we're doing so well, and she is loving us and loving our process. And I can tell. She said to me the other day at Trade Day, she said, I've waited my whole life for this. She said, I can't believe it. And I said, I'm so sorry that we've invaded your space for the 6 hours, however long we were there for. And she said, not at all. She said, I'm loving it.
So good.
So she's a person I don't feel would be correct to now go, oh, okay, here's my new rate. Unless she got a letter that went, dear valued client, or dear Kathy, if I'm writing to her specifically, as of the 1st of July, our rates are going to be going up because that's a new financial year. And maybe that's acceptable for a project like her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So any old past clients who come to me now and say, would you do something for me? Like this just happened last week, a client came to me and said, we'd love help now with our front door. The entrance to the apartment, the exterior entrance. And I said, terrific, I'd love to help you. We've just put our rates up. as of the 1st of March, they're going up. So she said, great, fine. That's okay. It's the jobs I'm doing currently that I question, can I do it?
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So the way that I did it when I finally got the courage the first time to raise my rates is I looked at each job individually, and I thought there were some that we were almost done with. I'm not going to ask them to raise the rates. We're almost done. It didn't feel like the right thing to do. But there were one or two back in the day that they weren't that much fun. They were dragging their heels. I mean, this is going back some years, so I didn't have all my systems in place. And I thought, no, I need to raise my rates to them because it's miserable to work with them. And poor them for having to work with me when I think about it. But so that's what we did for them. We sent a letter and we said, as of August 1st, our rates are going up to X. And I remember having so many arguments with my business coach because when I first drafted a letter, it was like, because of gasoline prices have gone up and the cost of living has gone up and blah, like I'm doing all this explaining.
Had to back it up. Yes.
Yeah. And she's like going, okay, if the phone company raises your rate, do you get a letter where they tell you that their grandmother's been sick and now you have to pay for, no, anyway. So it was very straightforward and professional. And one of the clients said, fine. And the other one was really angry and mad about it, but they were miserable anyway. So who cares? They were mad. It was miserable, but they paid the new rate. And then for any of the new ones, we just waited to raise the rates. So I and then the other category was those clients who were so great, so easy, everything was great. I didn't rock the boat. I didn't raise the rates. In hindsight, what I should have done is sent the letter to all of them, but then told a couple of the really good ones, I'm not going to rate, just ignore that. That went to everybody, but I'm not going to raise your rate, but I will for the next project. So I did look at each client individually and think about it. And also the way that my contract is worded, my contract says these are my rates, and my contract doesn't say rates are subject to change or, but I suppose, there must be some legal reason why I could raise my rates if I need to in the middle of a project.
So actually, that's a good thing. I might look at what my contract says about my rates, because what I did do was I took your contract, but I got my son-in-law who's a lawyer, and he wrote me up a contract with Australian law. Yeah. But I wove into it, the processes. So there could be a clause in there, even though I read it and read it and read it to everybody. And, so I feel like I should know it off by heart by now. I want to just check that. There could be something in there that goes, my rates could be raised at my discretion. Because I know it says something about suppliers' rates can go up at their discretion. Right. Well, not their rates, but their sale price, whatever they say. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was question one. Okay. So I feel like it's job dependent, really. You have to work out the client, the relationship, and how you kind of assess the outcome could be on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I've got one job that's going to go on for another 18 months. I could end up feeling quite resentful, you see, if I'm at my current rate.
Yeah.
But they are people that may not take kindly to it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'd want to know what my legal standing is. Do I have the right to raise the rate, or is my contract set in stone because it doesn't.
But I think that's very valuable, because you don't want to set up something where you break the contract, because then you're giving the client the opportunity to break the contract too.
Right.
So I don't want to be that person that actually leads by example in the negative.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I look at this. Okay. So then the next question was, when it comes to travel, we do charge for our time, but in this little pocket of the eastern suburbs of Sydney, you don't go very far, which, when I say that, half an hour is considered far, so I do go to jobs that are half an hour away, 40 minutes away. But this is really like considered a drive away. I don't know what LA to San Diego or San Francisco. No, San Francisco is much further, but LA, San Diego, I don't know what that would be like But this is a good 1.5-hour drive, and it could be a 2-hour drive if there's traffic. This is a client actually who came to me. It's an interesting story. Excuse me, Kimberly. She came to me
you're
about
still so not well.
I know, it's so ridiculous.
10 days and counting. Wow.
10 days and counting. And I don't know when the end comes, because you don't know. Like, will I wake up better tomorrow, or will I wake up better on the weekend, or I don't know. Wow. Okay, so she came to me 3 years ago to do her apartment. I went with a kind of a BOD contract, because I had already engaged, like I'd already joined up BOD and, whatever, but it wasn't quite. So I remember I charged her for the consultation, and we walked around her apartment. She was doing a total renovation. And she said, I've got $100,000 to spend on the renovation. And I said to her, you can't do this renovation for $100,000. You can either add more money in, or you have to change your scope of works, but it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, she didn't believe me. She didn't use me, but she didn't believe me.
Right.
And about 2 years later, she actually emailed me to tell me that I was correct. That she did do her apartment,
right?
But she did not do what she wanted for $100,000.
Right.
And she still loves my work, and she still follows me. And one day she's going to get me to do something for them. Anyway, 2 weeks ago, I get an email from her to say they've bought this house. And it's in a place called Terrigal, which is on the seaside. A lot of Australia's on the seaside.
Yes, so pretty.
As an island. But anyway, and she wants me to do the house, and it's a huge renovation. And anyway, I'm very excited. So I sent her my invoice yesterday, and because I already know her and I've already not engaged with her, but this history we have, I'm still sticking to the plan. I'm not deviating from any of it. But I was prepared to talk to her on the phone in a way that I don't talk to others on the phone. And she did ask me about travel. And I was very brave, Kimberly. I remembered something you said, and I said to her, I have a business model, Esther, and it covers things like, because she asked me, do I add on to my contractors' bills? Do I get a cut? I think is how she worded it.
Right.
And I didn't say yes or no. I just said to both those questions, I have a business model, and when I sit down with you and go through the contract, you'll get a better perspective, because I've changed the contract to when you last read it with me, because she thought it was the same contract. I said it's been altered. It's actually got a lot of new processes in it that are in your favor as well as mine, which I think is the sharing discounts is a huge thing. But I didn't answer yes or no, because I want to start the trade program with my contractors the way you have, explained. I did it years ago. I stopped doing it. Now I want to go back to it. But travel to her project, yes, I do want to charge her for that time, because it is going to take up a good 3 hours of my day just traveling there and back. Mm-hmm. But do I charge her $350, or do I have in her contract that a travel time is $100 an hour, and be more, kind about it? Because that's my thinking, really.
Yeah. So I always, again, it depends on the project, depends on the client. If it's a client and a project that I really want and I'm excited about it, I will charge, I think we're $75 an hour for travel, because otherwise it's impossible. It's $1,000 just to wake up, just before we've even started the day, right? So yes. I don't want to lose a good project because of that. So I think we've been $75 an hour for 15 years. It's crazy. But anyway, probably should raise that. So I would charge. If it's a project I didn't want, I would say the time starts from the minute I get in my car. Because now I can't work for anybody but you. Sorry, can you hear all these sirens?
It's okay, yeah, sure.
So it would depend, but yeah, why not give her a rate, especially if it's like an area that you want to work in? And the reality is, the more process I have in place, the fewer trips I have to make to the project site. There are not that many trips to the project site until we're in the full-blown renovation.
I said that to her. I said, honestly, in the beginning, it's the one meeting there, it's the trade day there, and then it's doing that whole design story. And then when the project starts, I said all of that to her. So I think, I think, and then, obviously we'd have to charge for whoever's coming that day. So it would be 100. Yeah. That's a one. Is it $100 an hour for whoever's sitting in that car? Or is it $100 for every head that goes to the site for petrol?
I've never even thought about that, because we're such a car culture. We're always in separate cars, and staff always gets paid back for mileage and whatever. I think in the past it's only been my time that we charge that for. And then as the employer, I pay the mileage to the independent contractors. And, that is an expense.
Oh, wow. So, because she asked me this question. She said to me, Marylou, I understand you want to use your contractors. Do you think they'll be prepared to come to Terrigal to work? Or will we have to get contractors nearer the place? And I said to her, I would give them that option. You want the project or you don't want the project? But are you saying you pay them petrol for them?
Oh, no, I'm thinking of my design team.
Your
staff.
Design team. Yes.
Yeah.
I pay my design team for petrol too. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Contractors, especially now when they're busy, they don't necessarily want to travel. Like, we're finding our contractors are they're back to being kind of prima donnas a little bit. I don't really want to work in downtown Toronto. It's a pain to park. And so don't you have a different job for me? I'm like, no, I'll never have another job for you ever if you don't do this job. Like, that's not how it's going to work.
No, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I hope nobody in Sydney becomes like that. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
There's a bit of competition here, though, to work with designers for these trades. Oh. So some of them, if they're working for you and there's some kind of, I don't know, fame attached. I don't know, fame's a big word. They don't want to leave you.
That's amazing.
I suppose, there's some in some cases. They're like, they don't want to lose you. Good. As a designer. They're very happy that they've, Oh, gosh.
For anybody listening, have to check out Marylou's website, because your work is so beautiful. I could see why they would want to be attached.
Thanks, Kimberley. Now we've got to get those processes in place.
They're happening. They're happening. Yay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to set up another time with you for coaching, Kimberley. I feel like I've got a lot ahead of me, and in some ways, actually, because I've been out of working from home for 3 years now, and I think that is why my business is back in its infancy, toddler, but growing out of it. Actually, I'm not really in infancy and toddler. That's not true.
I was going to say, there's no way you are. No way.
No, I'm not. There's no way. But what I mean is working away from home, where you suddenly have bills to pay that you never paid before. That's where you have to rise above and work out, how you manage all of that. So,
well, and your daughter's getting married, so you also have to rise. You have to make a lot of money to pay for a wedding.
Oh my gosh, this is we're very, very, very blessed. This is our third daughter getting married.
Wow!
And in fact, today is the anniversary of our eldest daughter's wedding anniversary. She's been married 10 years today, the 1st of March.
Gosh,
so not
that's wild.
Yeah. It is wild.
I don't know about in Sydney. Are you also coming out of lockdowns and stuff? Like they just dropped the masks in California. It's so weird to be going inside a store without a mask. I'm not used to it yet. I feel like awkward.
They've just dropped the masks in Sydney last week. Yeah. They were allowing a lot of things to come. Like, there's no more in restaurants. You don't have to have that 2 meter or 1.5 meter rule anymore for tables. They've dropped a lot of it. You can now go I think you can even start going back to nightclubs and things. I don't know all of that because I don't do that. But it's lifting a lot.
Yeah.
They've still got the isolation rule. If somebody in your house has COVID, the other members have to isolate. They might drop that soon too, though, apparently.
Oh, wow. Wow.
No more quarantining. If you come to Australia as a visitor, no more quarantining. You can come.
I know. I got a notification from Qantas. We still have your silver status or whatever I got. I'm like, oh, I want to go back.
Yeah, please come back.
I would love to. I'm working on it for sure.
Actually, I want to come to America too. I do. I want to come back to. I like California. I love Los Angeles and all the design there. I love the stores and the shops, and probably New York too. But I don't. Yeah, and I don't know. One of my girlfriends actually is in Toronto, and she's a designer, and we were talking the one day, and I said to her, "My God, you are in." Suddenly the penny dropped, and I said to her, "You should be meeting up with Kimberley. You should be, you're on her time zone." Anyway, she did your 15-step program. It was a day thing a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what she did. She did something. There was something on.
I don't know. I have no idea. That's hilarious.
She said, anyway, she's doing something. She said, okay. She said she once went to hear you talk with another friend who's also a designer. So she does know who you are.
Oh, that's so
and
funny.
I said to her, Glenn, you got to get more of Kimberley. You're right there. Like, don't miss out. Don't miss out.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I hope you're feeling 100% better by tomorrow.
Me as well. I meant to take a client out for 3 hours tomorrow morning. It's not going to happen.
Wow.
I can't imagine going to showrooms. And we've got pouring rain in Sydney at the moment.
Right.
We've got floods actually in Queensland, really drastic floods.
Oh, I know. I was a friend who's got a friend in Brisbane, right? They're flooding.
Terrible flooding.
Yeah. That's horrifying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel so overwhelmed and busy at work these days. I feel like I want to fake having COVID so I can just go into a hole and catch up for 3 weeks. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing that happens, isn't it, Kimberley? It's like, careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah. I don't actually want to be sick because you actually really are sick, but
I know.
All right. Well, stay well, get healthy.
Thank you.
It's nice to see your face. You still look beautiful, even with COVID.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for being part of the Business of Design community and supporting BOD's mission to improve the industry one design business at a time. It's time for you to take the next step and join Business of Design. Like thousands of design professionals in 50 countries around the world, you'll find the systems, strategies, and protocols you need to dramatically improve your business and transform your life. What are you waiting for? Start today.